Hi everyone, for today's video, I'm going to be talking about my favorite brushes that I use for blush application, contouring, and highlighting. Now, usually when I'm doing blush, I actually prefer to apply the product using my finger. And I just press it there onto my cheeks. And what I usually do is I get like a stippling brush and I use that to blend the product into the surrounding area. So if you watch my video of my favorite brushes that I use for the face, there's one stippling brush there that I use to layer on product or foundation on the face. And when I'm using that brush on that particular day, I get that brush and I just use it to layer and blend the foundation and the blush together, and this just creates a very seamless look. Now I am actually coming from the video that I did earlier, and if you've noticed, I didn't actually set my cheeks with powder, so that's why I'm very confident that I'm able to apply the cheek products onto my skin without worrying of actually making the products stick together. Now this is actually very helpful because if you have texture in your cheeks and then you are layering on products, this is a great way of just, making sure that it doesn't disturb the products or the layers of products on your face. So just patting it on and just to blend it on seamlessly. Now, just as an example, if I want to intensify the blush, I would get the sister of that stippling brush. It actually has a much more longer bristle than this brush. So when I use this, I'm actually very confident that the product doesn't charge the brush. And what I do is just I stipple it on the face and I just layer it properly. And I just blend it very gently with the aid of my finger just to intensify the color. So let's add that here. High points of my cheeks. Just to give that pop of color. And then I go back to that brush that I use for the foundation. And then I just blend them all together. Okay, so this is what I use for cream or gel blushes. Now for powder blushes, I use any of these brushes depending on the intensity that I want. I use this brush from Laura Mercier. I actually have 3 of these from a long time ago. And then if I want a much more muted application, I use the Hakuhodo. And if I want a very sheer application of powder, I use the Yachido. So for example, I'm just adding some powder just to intensify the blush. This also helps to set it. I'm gonna add more powder to this part because I'm going to be using a powder contour just to show you guys what I use for contouring. Now for contouring, I use either of these Itabake brush. Depends on how intense I want it to be or how big an area I want to contour. So I just take my pick. So the nice thing about using this brush is that you can actually lay it on your cheekbone because it's a very straight brush, as you can see here. The contouring is happening and you can just blend it out. And you can blend it upward. And it really helps disperse the product properly. So this actually helps to intensify and to chisel the contouring if that's what you want. So let's add that some here for balance. So this brush is actually very versatile. I can use this for cream and liquid contouring products, even for powder. This is made of goat and synthetic mix, so this is going to be very, very resilient. Now, the other brush that I also like to use when I'm using cream or liquid contouring products is actually this brush. I like the shape of it, I like the density, and I like that as it gets longer to the tip, it gets less dense. So it actually helps to disperse the product properly. And I also like how small it is because, you know, it fits right along your cheekbone, which is actually perfect because our cheekbones are not very big. And you can also use this if you want to, you know, add contouring at specific areas of the face that you want to. And one other thing with this Ita brush, you can actually, you know, use this to contour your jaw area if you need to, but I don't need it. And you can also use this to add some contouring on the neck, or, you know, just to hide your double chin. And since the brush head is quite large, it can actually cover a very big area all at once. And yes, you're not mistaken, this is actually the brushes that geishas use to apply their white makeup or their white base. And since I have two Ita brushes that I use for contouring, the much more larger brush head, I actually use this when I want to contour the nose because it actually covers the entire expanse, and you can just press in the product and you can just drag it down to blend. So yeah, I try to use products that help me apply makeup at the shortest amount of time possible. So this is very, very helpful with that. Now for highlighters, I actually like using these two brushes. Now if I haven't used this brush for contouring, I'm gonna use this for highlighter. And if I did, I would use this. Now, it's very, very small, and it also tapers to a point, and it's also very, very soft. And it just helps you to add a very concise amount of highlighter at a very specific point on the face. Now, I don't really tend to go overboard with highlighters because, especially for my skin, and especially here in the Philippines, it gets very, very humid easily, and your foundation starts to get dewy even if it's a matte finish. It starts to get dewy, and I actually use that in creating natural highlights on the face. So very, very minimal. Okay, there you go. You can see that. Okay. Now for bronzer, I like using this very big brush from Hakuhodo, and because it's so big, it's able to cover a huge amount of area on the face instantly. And since the brush head is very, very airy, it's able to disperse the product without applying too much at the same time. Now, if I want to add more warmth, like if I want to add more bronzer to my cheeks, or if I want to use a finishing powder, I actually use a Yachio brush for that. And I just bring it all the way down and mix them all together so it's one seamless color. Now, you can actually see me using this brush in my Guerlain Meteorites video. I'm gonna put a link down below to that so that you guys can see this in action. But I do love using this as well. And one thing I have to say that this is also a very versatile brush. I also use this for cream and powder brushes. So this is actually very, very useful. So that's it from me today. I hope that you found this video helpful and insightful. And if you have any more questions about the brushes that I use for my cheeks, for contouring, and for highlighting, please let me know down in the comments box below, and let's have a conversation about this. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you're having a good day wherever you are. Bye, you guys.